Classic Rock Radio.
Wir sitzen hier mit RavenEye aus Großbritannien, einer der aufstrebenden Bands am britischen Bandhimmel. Ich bin sehr glücklich, dass es geklappt hat. Es war eine ziemliche Odyssee und vielleicht stelle ich es euch erstmal vor. Das ist Ollie Brown, übernimmt den Gesang und Aaron und Adam, right? Okay, let's start. Would you agree that it's bullshit to say that rock and roll in Great Britain is dead? I mean, it's definitely wrong, right? Because some people claim that.
I don't think it's dead. I think it's just like in the swamp still. It's kind of going to rise up in the next, few years maybe, but it's definitely not dead, especially not in the UK, but there's a rock scene there still, I think.
Okay, yeah, there are a lot of bands coming up, like Inglorious or the Temperance Movement, or just like RavenEye. Yeah, RavenEye, heard of them before. Did you ever see that maybe in a greater perspective, that there's some kind of new British blues rock coming up?
No, I don't know. Like, I think there's just a rock scene in the UK. Like, there's loads of grunge, there's loads of kind of alternate bands that are really coming up. There's a wicked metal scene as well. Like where we live in Milton Keynes, there's some wicked metal bands. Hacktivist, Have a Coward. It's just, I think the good thing about rock music is that it's only ever going to be people playing their instruments and it's live. And no matter what, whatever people go to, you still got to come back to the roots of it, which is, your drums, your bass, guitar, and a singer. And that's the most real connecting thing. And for a live show, it doesn't get better than that. A guy can stand in front of a speaker and sing with a track playing along behind him as much as he wants. But when people actually watch a real rock show, there's nothing quite like it.
All right. You used to go solo before RavenEye sometime, but can you tell us something about the founding of RavenEye, maybe?
Yeah, I just need, I think with anything, eventually you need a change. It was 10 years of doing the solo thing, and I enjoyed it, but I just needed a new lease of life and wanted to be with people that we worked together on this one. So we started again, no management, no agency or anything, and just worked it from the ground up. And it was fun to do. It was nice to book all the tours, promote all the tours, be ignored by hundreds of people when you send out all the emails. And it was really fun. It was a really grounding lesson for all of us to really just go from the beginning again and build it up. And to have a band of brothers that that are all decent people and easy to work with. We slept in the van yesterday, last night, because we're all too cheap, but we're all cool with it. There's no one really cares, and it's fun to have that stuff again.
So, but you knew each other before?
I met Ollie a couple of years ago, I think. Yeah, and we started the band with another drummer, and then we found this killer little cat. Wow. We've been touring now for a year. In this format, and it's the best it's ever been. It's the biggest we've ever sounded. So we're loving it.
Okay, you already supported Joe Satriani, Slash, and Miles Kennedy, Deep Purple, and Kiss lately, and I bet I forgot some important names. But is there any special band or artist you would love to go on tour with?
I would have an immediate answer for that. I would have said Soundgarden. So I don't know now. Queens of Stone Age would be an absolutely wicked show to play with. I think we always had our goal, like Tunnel Vision, we're always massive Chris Cornell freaks, so we always Soundgarden's going to be the dream one day. But Queens of Stone Age is another huge influence. You can hear it in our music as well. We love the sound of what Josh Homme creates for Queens of Stone Age and just how massive that band sounds. So we definitely would never say no to a Queens of Stone Age support.
You look a bit like Chris Cornell. Did someone ever tell you?
Occasionally, I think, but he's got blue eyes. He's far more handsome than me.
How did you react to his really unforeseen death?
Pretty poorly. I think it sucked, but we had a show that day, and we played Kachis as well. We played the massive riff and got to rock that out. But my pre-show ritual is always to listen to 4th of July on the Super Unknown album, and it was weird. It's weird hearing it then, and I haven't listened to it. Kind of stopped listening to it for a while. Okay. I'm trying something new.
All right, like I said, lately you supported Kiss. Can you maybe tell us some funny stories, or how was it to meet Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley?
We do have a funny story that we haven't really told anyone yet, but
you have to tell it.
It's a bit long. That's the only problem.
It's okay.
Is it okay? So, it was the day before Ollie's birthday, and the guys were driving in the van. I am doing something else, but I'll just give you the context. So these guys were driving. They had a 7-hour drive from Vienna to Frankfurt, and at the German border, beautiful Germans. We got stopped at the border, and Ollie, because he looks like a rocker and he was driving the van, he had to piss in a cup to prove that he wasn't on the drugs.
I wasn't driving there. It was tour manager.
You did have to piss in the cup.
I don't know.
Yeah.
My side. Okay.
Yeah. No, our tour manager was driving the van. And he got pulled over, and they had breathalyzed him and made him pee in a cup to see that he was clear of drugs. But his back pills have like an opium in them, I guess, and that ticked over the thing. So, and then they were like, they all of a sudden were like, okay, we've got to check your van because, you know, you've obviously got drugs with you, and we don't. And then they're like, well, who can drive? And I'm like, I can drive. And he's like, are you sure you want to do this? Because you're going to pee in the cup, and then, you know, we're going to find out what you've been taking. I'm like, I'm not going to swear. I'm not going to swear. I'm like, okay, let's go, kind sir. So I peed in a cup. I'm fine. But then we had to go to the police station for our tour manager because they took him a blood test and charge him €750, which he'll get back in 7 weeks when they find out it's just for his painkillers. But and that extended the journey for about another 2.5 hours, 3 hours. So, and he couldn't drive, so I had to do the whole drive by myself at that point. Meanwhile, Aaron's side of the world was very different.
So Kiss's manager loves golf, and I love golf, which is kind of nerdy, but I'm okay with it. So he asked, I kindly offered to play a round of golf with me in Vienna. So I went off and played golf with him, and I was going to catch a train to catch up with the guys the next day, like an overnight sleeper train. But the manager sort of decided, you know what, it's going to be too hard. Why don't you stay with us at the Ritz Hilton in Vienna, and you can catch the private jet with the band back to the gig tomorrow.
And you were like, oh my God, I'm gonna...
No. I was like, oh, no, that's okay. I can catch the train. Don't worry. No. I got to stay at the hotel with the guys, have dinner with the guys, went in the jet with the guys, and rocked up at the gig at like 3:30. The guy, literally, I opened my door and these guys are setting up all the gear and stuff. So, and it was Ollie's birthday, just to rub salt into the wound.
Crazy. Okay, you're making me jealous. All right, Ollie, you won a lot of prizes in Great Britain. Best male vocalist, best young artist, best guitarist. You got the British Blues Award and more. And all that I know from you is Nova until yet. But they were right giving you all these prizes. I can tell. Could you name a few of your idols? I mean, you already told some bands, but maybe some guitar players.
Yeah, well, Jimi Hendrix is the reason I picked up guitar. So like, Jimi Hendrix is still like my kind of epitome of guitar players. Like he's nuts. I mean, I kind of then progressed like Stevie Ray Vaughan and Albert King, and really kind of went into the more traditional kind of blues sense, because I like to kind of find my heroes and find out who influences them. And especially with the guitar world, I think it's a really fun world to go into, because once you hear your hero and then you hear who they're influenced by, you start hearing their licks kind of and how they translate them. And there's some really fun bits of research you can do with the guitarist that I became really obsessed with. And that was massive for me. Like Chris Cornell, obviously a huge influence for me as singing. Like Audio Slave Cochise was the first Chris Cornell kind of song I heard, and I was like, rock's the best thing in the world, because that video is mental. Like, all the fireworks and all that. Oh, it's just the best music video ever. Okay. And and then started found the Soundgarden days, and then really got into that. And but the guitarist, like Hendrix, he's the reason I even started music.
Okay, I just saw you already have the title of your last album written on your hand. Yes. Nice.
So he doesn't forget.
What was the title of your last album again?
Avon.
Oh, okay.
No.
Never heard about it. Okay, as you may have seen, we're from Classic Rock Radio, so we play a lot of classic rock. Can you maybe name some bands, some real classic rock stuff that you adore?
We love Zeppelin. We love the Sabbath stuff. Who else we listen to? The Who.
AC/DC.
Yeah. There's some classic.
Some good names.
Yeah, well, we're big into our grunge as well. So like, it's a big thing like Nirvana and Pearl Jam. Really kind of, I don't know, something that happened in the '90s with rock music that
we play them also.
Yeah, like it just, I think, some crazy.
Classic rock is now. Like, I don't know. What could you? Is that Ling Skinner's classic rock? Is that classic?
Well, we're going out with Aerosmith. That's got to be classic, right?
Yeah, that's classic rock. Yeah. Aerosmith's definitely classic rock.
You will go on tour with them? What? No.
We're doing one show with them in Portugal, in Lisbon.
Shit, I didn't know. I'm not good informed. Okay, nice.
You heard it first.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
That, next month.
Yeah.
Nice. So you went on tour with Deep Purple, Kiss, and Aerosmith. So you're in a good way, I think. Okay. You recorded your album Nova in New Jersey. How come? I think New Jersey is not in Great Britain, right?
No, but it's a lot cheaper than Great Britain. And we just finished a US tour, and we ended up in Boston, and we were looking at studios, and the producer that we're working with, he's a longtime friend, and we really wanted to work with him because he's kind of one of the only other people in the world that really kind of got the sound of RavenEye before anyone else really did. So you could trust him to kind of really represent us in the best way. And he found this studio, and we wanted a place we could live in. And in the UK, it's like double the price. And
Really?
yeah, it's so expensive. So it was just a case of, well, let's just live in this place, what music, and it's a wicked studio. Like just proper rock. Like the live room is just this massive square, and just this huge loud space, and it kind of really influences in the sound of the record to really kind of represent what the room is offering. Like that's why like Nova is, you know, this cataclysmic explosion, this kind of bigger than the sum of its parts. This whole sound of it's meant to be massive, and the room just really, you know, helped represent what the record was. So it was an amazing, you know, happenstance that the room worked out with the way that the sound, you know, wanted to come out.
Okay. You spent a lot of time there in New Jersey. I mean, a week is not enough to record an album like Nova.
We were there for 25 days, so we basically wanted somewhere to live. So we would record and then we'd sleep in the same place. So we didn't have to like drive home, drive back. So that was part of another reason why we did it in New Jersey. But yeah, we were there 25 days and we ran out of time, if you can believe it. I don't know how you manage to always run out of time. No matter how long you have to record an album, you always run out of time. But we wanted to keep, you know, like a day to mix each song, and we did all the drums and guitars and bass and tracking and vocals and stuff like that. So yeah, it was amazing. Incredible experience.
And you had a good time in New Jersey.
Yeah, well, it's funny because we were like, you know, half an hour on the train to New York City, and we didn't actually get to go in and see any of it because we were, like I said, we ran out of time. So we were slamming it, working, and then ran out of time and had to get on a plane home. So we didn't even get to go and like have a party to like celebrate the record. It was like the last hour we were still doing stuff. So
it was more work than fun.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I think the last track we were actually working on is now the current single, "Come With Me." So that was the last thing that we were kind of trying to get right.
I heard your producer already worked with Michael Jackson. Is that true?
I've heard that from Ollie, yeah, which is kind of, I wasn't on the record unfortunately, but I know that Warren, his name, worked on the EP, and he seen the stories that the guys have told me. He knows his stuff. I mean, working with Michael Jackson, I mean that's.
Yeah, he was around for the Fugees. So when they first started, like that was kind of his first big project, and was with them for ages.
That was a song. Like he mixed that song. That's
crazy. All right. I guess Ollie Brown is more into songwriting than you. I don't know. How is it going with the songwriting normally?
Songwriting is great. It's a big combined effort. We kind of get together and smash out the riffs, and Ollie's great with putting that stuff into Logic. I think we're moving over to Studio One now, though. So he kind of like structures everything, like puts it all in like a nice demo format, and we reference that. But in terms of the writing, it's kind of like a big
quick, because it's a new experience writing with these guys, and we've been writing drum tracks and everything, and it'd literally just go in, right, that works, compile it all together and play it back. Cool, we got a song. So it hasn't been that stressful so far.
It's kind of easy, like I said, with Studio One, I have just a little box. You plug the guitar in, you can record, you can get like loads of wicked amp sounds. Do the same with the bass, and for the drums, we just draw MIDI information. So you just spend ages drawing lines, and it kind of represents what the track's meant to be. But you can do it on the road, you can do it anywhere, and we get just as many demos as we can, many things together as we can. But it's, you know, we all know what the sound needs to be, so we're all kind of keep each other in check. So it's definitely a joint. You know, it's RavenEye now. It's not a solo project.
Okay, so it's no problem if Aaron comes and says, "Hey, my heart is broken. My girlfriend just left me. I got a new song there. We have to record."
No, not really.
You look like it. No, I'm just joking. Okay. I have to tell, Nova is a really wonderful album. If you're on the street, I listen to it always when I drove to my girlfriend. It's really perfect. But all songs on Nova are so full of pain, of defiance, of hate, death, and of course of full of love. You have to tell us something about the realization or how it comes to them, how you get your inspiration. I know it's a standard question, but
No, it's actually I've been asked that. It's kind of cool. Like, I really appreciate you kind of understanding the record and the journey of it. Really, it was kind of about the epitome of like human emotion, like the peaks and the lows of it all. And really, I think that's just the way you write. Like, we're a very honest band. Like, we write what we feel, and you know, it's not like that we're miserable people. You know, maybe that's what makes us happy, because we just sing all this stuff. And instead, I don't know. But I think what we love to do is just be honest in every sense. And you know, there's songs like Supernova is just about love. It's just about this, like, describing love in any other way than saying I love you, and about being like, you know, a supernova washing over me, and like a tidal wave. There's all sorts of just emotions that are massive. But then you got songs like Hate, which is not about hating someone, but just about someone. It doesn't matter how much you try and just like, it's the fuel. Doesn't matter how much someone tries to destroy you or bring you down. It's the fuel to make you work harder. And people do that. You know, people try and bring you down or try and find a way to passively make you feel more inferior so they can make themselves feel better. But in the end, you know, they're irrelevant. It is irrelevant, and that's kind of what Hate is about. And then songs like Eternity, which is just about dealing with the loss of I kind of finally kind of felt the consequence of losing someone that I was really quite familiar with. And we just wrote that just as an honest thing about embracing death. Originally, Eternity was a darker song, a much darker song, and the chorus was about, it had a chorus, which we got rid of actually. It was about death kind of embracing you and saying, hey, follow me under 2 coins for the ferryman's ride. And it was this whole thing. But then we're like, this is too sinister. And the way the journey of the song was going was more about this emotion, this release. And, you know, by the end of the track, you get that final little peak note, and the whole thing kind of just dissipating from there. And kind of that never-ending journey. That's like why we chose to fade it out as well in Eternity. Like, the only way to kind of fade out Eternity is just, well, to end Eternity is to fade it out, so it kind of perceptually could last forever, essentially. And it was an amazing, honest journey to kind of put out there to people.
Okay, let's maybe talk about Rock am Ring. It's your first time here. Are you excited to play later this day?
It's gonna be crazy. We were told yesterday that it was gonna be severe weather warnings, so like rain and thunder, and hopefully that doesn't happen. Maybe a bit of rain, maybe a bit of thunder.
It's coming as us.
We'll bring the thunder.
Well, even worse than that was when we were driving over, we heard that it was possibly going to be cancelled because of a terror threat. So we're stoked that we're playing, and it's like, fuck you, you know, nothing's going to stop us playing this show. And everyone, you know.
And everyone's here. Yeah,
it's
which
a
is the
celebration
cool.
of rock and
music.
happiness and fun, and let's fucking rock out.
Yeah, that's unfortunately the times that we're living in. I guess we have to deal with it in the next few years also.
Yeah. And you know what, to be fair, like you mentioned the KISS stuff before, like a huge shout out to all the security people that look after us at these festivals. Like we got like bomb dogs sniffing everything, and we got all these guys like making sure that these places are safe for everyone. And it's I've always felt safe in venues, especially with the KISS stuff, and especially here. You know, everyone checks our van and checks us. Everyone has to have the right accreditation to get in and stuff. So you know, if that's, hopefully everyone feels safe, because we do.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, RavenEye, you should definitely check out the latest record, Nova, if you like British hard rock and blues rock. Do it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Say hello.
Thank you.
Like, we're all over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We run everything ourselves. So if you look up It's RavenEye on anything, say hello, because we'll be typing it. We don't like to talk to each other in the van. We like to just talk to other people. So
yeah, do it. You won't regret it. Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
Classic Rock Radio.